Purchase order financing is usually overlooked by most entrepreneurs. What does purchase order financing actually mean? One of the most commonly overlooked source of fund is purchase order financing. But what is purchase order financing? Well, what it means is that you actually accept upfront payment, like a deposit, from a client for a service or a product that you need to deliver to them. So say you're in a business where you are building a website. So the client agrees to pay you a certain amount of money, say $10,000, for you to build a website for them. Now, before you start the work, you request the client to give you a purchase order. It's like a document called a purchase order, in short, PO. So that purchase order confirms their payment, confirms that they are purchasing your service, and then they should pay you a deposit of maybe 40% of the $10,000. So the 40% is enough for your company to survive for maybe 3 months. So that's how you finance your company, to give cash flow in your company. I actually used this purchase order financing method earlier on in my business, where I actually got a contract from a large media corporation in my country to build a website for them. So at the time, I only had 3 people in my company, including me. So the deposit that we received from this project was so huge that we were able to survive more than 6 months just on this financing method. Of course, it was a rather large project that we actually got for the first time, and eventually they paid the full payment to us, which even helped us to survive for even longer time. But however, this source of fund may not be suitable for your business. So it really depends on your business nature. It is best for service-based business or even trading. So if you're trying to sell a physical product that you just have to ask a deposit from your client, and you can use that money to pay for the goods that you're supposed to deliver to them. So you buy your goods from someone else with the deposit that your clients paid to you. Then you deliver that goods to them. Sometimes they call it vendor financing. When you use this source of fund, remember that you need to use the back-to-back approach. Back-to-back here means that you only pay someone when you get paid. For example, if you're a web design company and you actually outsource the work to other freelancers. So when you get the money or the deposit from your client, then only you pay a deposit to your outsourcers. So you don't pay them upfront. So if they pay you a 40% deposit, you pay your outsourcer a 40% deposit. That means back to back. So whatever amount of money that you receive, you also pay out the same amount of money. Do not pay more than that. This way, it helps to keep your cash flow positive. So you will not come to a point where you actually are spending more money than the money that you received. So the trick here is that always try to request for a higher deposit upon a purchase order. The higher you get upfront, the better you are initially. So you can use the money for a longer period. Usually in the market, for example, if you're building a website or web design work or marketing, etc., typically we try to get like around 30% to even as high as 50%. Really depends on your negotiation skill.